So there was this weird situation going on in Milwaukee that was brought to my attention, that apparently there was a house that was known to traffic children. It was a house where there was sex trafficking, and there are rumors that the police knew about it and were involved, but they didn't say anything. So people discovered that there were about 7 missing children, and they called the police to go investigate it. And then what happened was that the police took hours, and the people from this area in Milwaukee say the police don't care about them. They're always protecting the houses of the rich people, but the police don't give a crap about them. They took forever to go investigate. And so the people went to the houses directly, started trying to get in there. And then there was a sex offender that lived there, and they found a bloody child shorts, and the guy left and went off, and then they had found the children not in the house but somewhere else. But then the people had gone over there, and so the cops went to face the people to supposedly protect and stop craziness from happening. But then all of a sudden we see, and I don't know who yet, because it wasn't clear from the video. I watched like an hour and a half of this footage that was on Facebook Live, and it wasn't clear who started the fire, but there was a car where they found these shorts was burned, and the house where there was obvious evidence of whatever was going on there was also burned. The police had zero interest in figuring anything out.
I have a phone call today with somebody, an activist, not an activist, but somebody who's into this, who's going to talk a little bit more, has got some information, contacted me. So I have a phone call scheduled today. There are some really creepy, weird things about this whole situation.
Yeah.
About even a suspect that was killed not too long ago that jumped out of a house, and the cops fired at him. And like he was almost like committing suicide of sorts. Yeah. And in connection to a lot of these pedophilia houses going on, there's a lot of things that have been happening around the nation where they've been, pedophilia and whatnot. Like I said, I have a phone call tonight. I am going to speak to somebody who's very much in tune with this information, and we will get back to you with some more information about this whole situation.
So, fam, what is this Twitter thread here?
Okay, so this Twitter thread is kind of explaining a little bit of this. So
let me read through some of these.
Yeah.
It says people who went inside the cops' child kidnapping / rape house said they found a room with a bed and a floor covered in blood. Dang. Here's a quote. It says there are a bunch of missing black kids that the cops don't care about. Some were seen this morning at this house being put into a red minivan, and the house has been suspected as being a sex trafficking operation. Cops searched the house, found nothing. Neighborhood gathered. Someone inside the house shoots at the people. Cops come back, eventually whisk a bunch of people out of the house covered under tarps and shit to hide their identity. Cops intimidate people for a while, then leave. People break into suspected sex trafficking house while cops watch for a bit, then decide to come back, and now we're here. The cops came back and informed the line around the house and brought in an APC. And then you go to this live stream. It works for a little bit.
And then they cut it, right?
That's crazy, nigga. I'm all the way out here.
For my brother.
Which one? What's out? Reason to yell at them. What are they blocking? What are they blocking? What are they blocking? Go around them. What are they blocking? They're blocking nothing.
So this gentleman is an activist in the community, and he's like a citizen journalist. And he was just basically saying how the cops were not protecting what they should be protecting, and how they took them forever to get there. So people took it upon themselves. So what's been happening in Milwaukee is that they developed their own police. The BLM protesters have their own medics, their own police, and they have been kind of taking matters into their own hands. They have been protesting for 29 days now, and this is some of the interactions that they've had with law enforcement. At some point, law enforcement did fire rubber bullets into the crowd, and it's still not clear how the house got on fire, and there was a car that got on fire. But they do speak about bloody shorts that they found. And yeah, this is very, very, we have a couple pictures, but I think there's a couple of more tweets if you want to read them, fam.
Yeah, if you try to go to the Facebook, see, it says, sorry, this content isn't available right now.
Oh, I saw it earlier. That's weird.
Why are they blocking this?
I should have downloaded it.
Why are they blocking
because
this?
Because once again, it goes to the deepest, darkest people. When your money doesn't mean anything to you, Like, just think about some of these people. What really gets them going or twisted and stuff. Very easy for me to say and accept the fact that people who have so much power are capable of doing shit like this. They get really weird, and I don't think the elites want people going on the trails and tracking down who's involved with what, because there's very powerful people who watch each other's back and accept money from each other, and they're using kids as currency right now.
Yeah.
And they've been getting away from it. The reason why I don't follow the Epstein stuff as much, and I've got some information, I'm going to go back into it, is because the fact that nobody gets held accountable, fam.
Yeah.
And even the cops protect rich people, even if they are using our children as currency. And it just shows you what our country's all about. It's about the elites doing whatever they want to do. At what point do we bring them down?
So some more tweets. It's a legit but well-behaved mob of people going over the site, looking in the trash cans, opening up a van in front of the house and looking through it. This might turn into something. Absolutely surrounding the house and the cops with so many people. So there were 2 houses involved, one where they were shooting at the crowd gathered, the other house where they moved the kidnapped children who made a break for it, and all the kids have been recovered. What the hell? Somehow the second house caught fire along with a vehicle by cops, probably. Now here's a new stream, but it looks like it was the same stream. I gotta go to this guy's Facebook.
They keep putting it up. So the earlier post in this thread about the evidence that was taken, look at that for handwritten notes on the children's names and when they were made to have sex. So apparently there are documents that have notes that they took out of the house before it was burned.
Wow.
And
they burnt the house?
In one of the live streams, someone on the scene shows papers that were taken from the house, some weird shit there. But she says the name on one of the documents from inside the house is Roderick Bowie. He is a registered sex offender. And so this is the man that's the registered sex offender that was apparently living there. And yeah, so they were apparently covering people under tarps and sneaking them into a van. So that's interesting. This is all really, 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 really strange.
This is the house he's got up right there.
Yeah, so those are that's pictures of the house. Apparently it's a known house. Like, people know that weird shit goes on there. So
oh my god, like the little kids.
Yeah,
it's just like creepy shit.
Yeah.
It's creepy shit.
So yeah, well, I'm gonna look more into this, and you have a phone call, so we'll keep you guys posted. But so far, there's a lot of unknowns. It's just that the community took it upon themselves to go first because the cops didn't react. I mean, they took hours. They said they said this is a commonplace thing where the cops don't really care about the neighborhood. It's not a rich neighborhood. It's a minority neighborhood.
Yeah, it looks like a poor neighborhood. Yeah.
They're burning the house.
Someone burnt the house.
Someone burnt the house. And that's a lot of evidence.
Exactly.
Too.
I mean, that's why you can't, like, you shouldn't be acting impulsively. Nobody ruin the house. Just demand they get in there. Demand for a independent, autopsy of sorts of people to come in, an independent group to come on in there and look at stuff, so we can hold the police accountable. You know what I'm saying? There should be like, what are they called? PIs, private investigators, who have licenses, who are
yeah, you need multiple people here. You need social workers.
Yes.
You need the PIs, and the police are only there to monitor. They are not equipped to deal with that right now. You're talking about child trafficking. You're talking about child rape. You're talking about possible connections to police that some of these people there were saying. I don't know. I'm not going to say that, but that's what some people were saying.
I can remember when the David Koresh story was going on, when the FBI, was the ATF who kind of blew him up and killed all those people and stuff like that. Well, the lawyers of David Koresh wanted the police not to go in, didn't want the FBI, wanted to seal off the area, and wanted the Texas Rangers to come in and get an independent evaluation of what's going on. We need more stuff like that to happen, where we have an organization that's really not backed by an NGO from George Soros or any of these other pieces of crap or any of these people, that is an independent body that can go in and do these investigations and report to the people what's going on. You know what I'm saying? The cops will be there to monitor them, but they're the ones doing the
community policing.
Exactly. Something like that, where we can get true answers and clear answers, because you know why? Cops are paid off. The departments, the governors, they're all paid off. Our government is paid off to the top. It's the arm of the oligarchs, the elites. It goes all the way down to our police departments.
And another thing that happened during this live stream that I was watching was that the guy noticed that there was one police officer that all of a sudden, when they went by the house, they were protecting the house, didn't have a uniform at all. And it just said he was just wearing a vest that said police. And he was like, why does this guy not have any sort of credentials of any kind? And the police took their names off, by the way. They changed their names and put in numbers because they said, oh, cancel culture. We don't want to be identified. So again, we don't know. We don't know who they are. Yeah, like so now I don't know if you're not. You have a number, but you don't have any identification.
That's terrible.
So he was talking about that too.
The cops are hiding, and it's some departments might be better than others, but this particular situation that is not right. Ben Riley asks, Ben Riley, we love you. Hope you got that shirt. News of Robert Fuller. We need answers, fam. Well, Johnny and Fee did a video on it the other day.
Yeah, you can watch it. It's clipped up.
Yeah, we're trying to find Johnny. Listen, Johnny been going out there. Tina Desiree, Fiorella, they've been going out there, hitting it up, going to the spots, asking for cameras, looking around, doing their own investigations. Why? Because we can't depend upon the sheriffs. We can't depend upon the Palmdale Police Department, whoever's out there. Is there a Palmdale, or is it just all sheriffs?
No, that's the LA
sheriff.
LA sheriffs. Okay, we can't depend upon them. So Johnny had he got a footage. He put it up there from a camera on the night. Johnny, you can clip up the video and show that. You can show him one of the videos.
It's on True Rebel Network. If you go to True Rebel Network, it's also clipped up.
The whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
go to True Rebel Network.
Check it out.
Check it out over there.
Got it.
It is clipped up on the Convo Couch too.
Absolutely.
Either one.
He went through it yesterday. A lot of people were.
There was a jogger in the background.
Yeah.
There was a car going by at a certain time. There was several activities. So, and then his half brother got gunned down by the LA Police Department, right? Was it the sheriff?
That was the LA sheriff.
Okay.
Yeah.
The sheriffs. The Latino man was killed by the LA Police Department. Yeah. The sheriffs killed Robert Fuller's half brother, and we have footage of that. They were going in there like it was like 100 cops or something for one guy.
Yeah.
Terrible. So we got answers for you there, Ben Riley. Thank you so much. Johnny, anything else to close us out with? Oh, wait. We got 3 men indicted in the murder charges of the killing of Ahmaud Arbery.
Yeah, so it was just breaking news today. I'll let Johnny say something.
I mean, I'm just showing the rest of this thread. This is insane.
Yeah, it gets
this is
dicey. There's a sex offender.
Yeah, it's nuts. Give me back my nudes.
It says police escorting multiple people under tarps into a van. And they were fleeing from the house?
Yeah.
So you're telling me that the police were helping?
Well, they could be arresting them and just trying to hide their identity is what they're saying.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. A lot of this is like really...
Oh, there they are. Tarps. That's what I'm saying. They could be protecting people.
Yeah, we don't know.
You know what I'm saying? It's time to listen. Police department, I don't know what the hell
they're
you're doing.
not equipped to deal with that.
It's time to realize who you are and what you're doing. I understand people say, "Oh, I'm taking that job because I want to be a civil servant and I want to protect people and be part of the community and all that shit." And you know what? You have to understand what your job is now, who you're working for. If you're a police officer, it goes all the way down. You're protecting the elites.
And by the way, Milwaukee police, of course, just like the LAPD and the New York NYPD, have a history of abuse and have a history of corruption. One of the largest. It's just like Chicago too.
Yeah, it's fucking Chicago.
Those big cities, Chicago, Milwaukee,
y'all
New
Fran
York.
Hampton, I'll never forget
LA.
it. Y'all beat the freaking people at the Democratic primary. Gestapo tactics, they called the Chicago PD. Sorry, fam, for getting all crazy. But
says property owner is a member of the clergy who works extensively with kids. Pine Ridge Campground board member. Chairman, children. Oh my gosh.
It gets dirty. It gets dirty.
This is.
But I'm in the house and he ran and they won't let him out on the van. 52 and he ran out.
Yeah, this is just crazy, guys.
Yeah. Nobody was really covering this except the citizen journalist that was there. And then there was a reporter that showed up later on, but she didn't really say much about the whole situation.
We got to go to Seattle. We got to go to Wisconsin. We got to go to Kentucky. We got to go everywhere.
You're telling me the house and the van got burned?
Yes.
Are you fucked?
They just destroyed evidence.
I didn't see. I was watching the whole live stream and I didn't see you because he kept going back and forth talking to different people, and then all of a sudden you see the house on fire. But that little picture right there with the red summarizes the whole thing. If you want to read it real quick, that summarizes everything that happened the best way.
2 black teenage girls went missing on Sunday. No Amber Alert was issued. The police decided they were not endangered and didn't bother looking for them. Last night or early this morning, one of the girls' mom tracked her daughter's phone to a house near 40th and Lloyd. They called the police. They waited hours, but the police never responded to the call. A group of neighbors showed up at the house to knock on the door and look for the girls, and when they did, shots were fired at them from inside. Then the police showed up, arrested the people who were shooting from within the house, but claimed to not see any evidence of the girls there, and left the scene. Neighbors entered the empty house and van parked outside to look for the girls and found bloody shorts, but no evidence of teenage girls apparently. House is connected with a known sex predator, and it was suspected that the girls had been lured or grabbed for sex trafficking. Some hours later, unidentified persons set both the van and the house on fire. A search party of neighbors, not the police, found the 2 missing girls and 2 other missing children around 4 p.m. They were following neighbors' tips from house to house that appeared to be a straight-up sex trafficking ring. They were doing this while dozens of police officers were on scene, doing nothing but harassing and intimidating residents.
Right.
Police on the scene started using tear gas and rubber bullets.
Yeah.
Wow.
So the police weren't really interested in finding the kids or solving anything. They were just there to counteract the protesters and the concerned people of the city that went there to find their own answers, because the police took forever to even get there. So that's what happened. And we don't know who set anything on fire yet.
Well, you know what I'm saying? That could always be... That's the sinister part. Like I said, in a lot of these things, you don't know who's going on. It could be somebody who's like, all right, we have to destroy that place, so burn it up and pretend like you're part of the mob, but you're really working for the guys who want all that evidence to be destroyed. That shit happens all the time. All those cops there, you couldn't stop the place from being burnt down? Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about that. That's bullshit.
They weren't, Johnny, in the whole live stream, they weren't by the house really at all.
They were just forming lines.
How did they burn the house down? Bullshit.
They were agitating the protesters.
It looks like
the police burnt it down and they blamed it on the fucking protesters. That's what happened.
Exactly.
And then all the evidence is gone. That shit happens all the time. They weren't even close to the house.
If anybody that was there, I mean, you know, come out and say something, because somebody had to say something. But what was happening in the live stream was that the police were confronting the protesters, so people were distracted. And the guy called it. He was like, "Why are you guys? They're distracting you. Why are we over here? Why are you not by the house? What are you doing over here? What's your point?" And you know, that was the whole thing.